All right, another thread from Carlos Osuida. I want to thank at JossFJH for perfectly illustrating what I've been saying. Leftists are insane and utterly impervious to reality. Here's how she responded to my fact-based thread on how quickly Donald Trump reacted to COVID-19. Now, you have to be there to see it, but it's a political cartoon showing Donald Trump looking like a buffoon with an America First glove on, and there's a man with a chart saying, "Sir, it's the number of cases, not TV ratings." Ha ha ha. Back to the thread. Let's go over it again. Trump was being told by Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, the CDC, the WHO, that COVID-19 did not pose a significant threat to the U.S. Nevertheless, Trump ordered the CDC to begin screening travelers from China on January 17th. The first American COVID-19 test was performed on January 19th. He was a 35-year-old man in Snohomish County, Washington. At that point, Trump began making his plans for a pandemic. On January 20th, he asked 3M to double its production of N95 respirators. On January 21st and 26th, Dr. Fauci said publicly that Americans have little to fear from COVID-19. On January 31st, Trump placed travel restrictions on China, defying Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, the CDC, WHO, the Democrats, and the global press. Obviously, at JossFJH has no idea how things work. One, the public health system has pandemic plans that go into action regardless of who's in the White House. Two, the CDC lacks the authority to give orders to states, cities, hospitals, and individual clinicians. Three, the FDA is in total control of which treatments are allowed. 4. The Defense Production Act is an enormous, blunt-edged sword that smashes its way through industry, often causing unnecessary delays due to bureaucrats who know nothing about manufacturing. 5. The press tells us success stories about other countries when in fact those countries only delayed the spread of COVID-19 and are now having to take the steps Trump took long before them. South Korea and Singapore come to mind. 6. Most governors, mayors, and hospitals view the federal strategic stockpiles as a superstore. Therefore, governors, mayors, and hospitals failed to maintain their own stockpiles of supplies and equipment, which is required in order to ensure the system works. Governor Gavin Newsom of California is proof that when the states, commonwealths, and territories do their jobs, the system works. Newsom has so successfully contained COVID-19 that he was able to send surplus ventilators to New York. Susan Rice is blaming Trump for the nature of COVID-19. It turns out she's just as childish as Obama. She can't understand with her 2-watt chicken brain that no amount of preparedness could have stopped this. Nobody knew how infectious it is, and the majority of the country expected the feds to wave a magic wand, as Rice's moronic boss infamously said. Trump showed leadership by going with common sense. Now the country and medical community have caught up to him. As for the people who think we've overreacted, they still don't get why this virus is so dangerous. It's not the mortality rate. It's the toll COVID-19 takes on the medical system. We've never had this many people requiring intensive care. No medical system was designed for this. The tests were crappy, and hospitals still refuse to use their new authority to use different labs. Think about it. The labs have a backlog because Democrats are unwilling to do something different. And then they blame Trump. Trump is 73, and he's as nimble as Ferdinand Foch, the best general of World War I. A career French army officer, Foch was the only general to grasp the impact of all the new weapons. He was so skilled that he was made commander-in-chief of the Allied armed forces. Foch understood aircraft, tanks, mortars, light machine guns, and small unit tactics. The French achieved interoperability that nobody else could manage. Here's your proof that Foch and Trump are the same. The first tanks were weird boxes and lozenges that made easy targets. They were slow and ungainly. The tank was a new concept, so the designers were thinking in terms of a mobile fortress. Folk kept pushing until finally the French developed the first modern tank, the Renault FT. It has all the features used today: rotating turret, crew and engine compartments separated, and tracks that run the length of the hull in order to increase maneuverability. This 67-year-old general was able to conceive of a weapon that will be in use forever. Now, there's no way that at Joss FJH will ever come to her senses. I use her to show you that Trump haters can't be cured. They hate a man and a world that don't exist. But it's good to show you the virulent madness we're up against. They've already lost. Don't be angry, unless it's cold fury. Laugh at them for their infantile craziness. It's fun.